Hi there, everybody. Happy Sunday evening to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. This show is going to be a mess. I'm just going to come out and say it. I moved to a different room. I'm so tired of the internet being so slow in the other room. I hate lag time. I went back and watched a couple shows, and I just don't like the internet being slow. So I'm no longer in a bunker in the middle of the house. I've got a new office, so to speak. And it's interesting. I haven't set up the background yet. Okay, that's HVAC running right there. And then my wife's like, "Do you want the kids blocks out of the way?" And I said, "Probably no. Let's just leave them because it's just the epitome of what's going on in my life right now." So these are the foam blocks that the kids play on. So that's pretty much where I am. But we've got blazing fast internet here, so there should be no cutouts or anything like that. We should be coming in crystal clear, and we'll get things cleared up behind me as well. So there's that. So we'll see. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. It's great to be with you. I hope you had a nice weekend. In terms of the way this weekend's kind of shaked out, we've had temperatures that have been stuck between 39 and 42 degrees since Friday. It hasn't moved. We're in a stagnant pattern right now, but things are going to get moving. And what I want to talk about on the show here tonight, first and foremost, let me know if you can hear me okay. I just want to make sure I got a new setup. Everything's different here. I just want to make sure it's working. So I'll let you comment on that. But what I want to talk about is the long range models get interesting. And what I mean by interesting is that there are some signs that we're going to have some kind of storm system that has the potential to produce some heavy snow. Remember, I'm on snow watch for you, especially as we get out towards Christmas. After that, we'll be on spring warm air watch. But we've definitely got something coming our way as we get into the middle half of December. And all the models are picking up on it. All right, thanks for letting me know. Linda, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Jeff, I appreciate it. Chrissy, Kenny, Elvia, thank you very much for the comments on that. All right, couple things. I wanted to bring this back. If you guys remember, this was last year, and I think the year before we did this, I made T-shirts for it briefly. If you have a chance and you haven't tried tart cherry juice yet, has anyone tried that? I've got Target's brand right here. This is not sponsored, okay? But tart cherry juice. I'm gonna pour a little glass during this. This stuff is so good, and it's supposed to help you sleep. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's real tart. It's real sour, depending on the brand you get. I like the, I think it's JD Nutsin or something like that. It's really good. But anyway, I want to raise a glass of not wine, but tart cherry juice to you this evening. That's our official drink of the show. We made that up a couple years ago, and I dropped it, and I totally forgot about it. So we just got some. Linda says it's great. Linda, I appreciate that. So there's that. Severe storm filmers asking, going back to work tomorrow. I'm back to work tomorrow. That's why I had to get a haircut. My beard was getting long. It was great. Paternity leave is over, though. I'm kind of sad about that. I'll be sad to leave the kiddos, but happy to get back to work. All right, let's get to it, shall we? I've kept you long enough. We'll add our what we're going to talk about here. Let me quickly thank our sponsors. They all support my wife's Christmas tree obsession. I think we're up to 8 in the house now. If you guys have seen a Hallmark movie, our house looks like that. I'm not complaining. It's wonderful. She's a designer, but anyway, I want to thank our sponsors for that. Quickly going through those. Tiger Plumbing. If you guys need a plumber, just go to tigerplumbing.net. They now, you don't even have to do that. You can book online now, which is great. They've had great reviews on that, but they come out for free, which is crazy awesome. What plumber comes out for free? They usually charge you a service fee just to come out and check things out. They're great. Tigerplumbing.net. PSA, guys, if you don't know about them, it's publicserviceadjusting.com. It's all local, licensed, insured folks that deal with insurance claims. So if you have any claim whatsoever on your property, let's say a pipe leaks, your problems with that, don't go to your insurance first. Go to them first. They will do everything you need between you and the insurance agency, and they'll get you more money. They work, and I'm telling you, the results are there. 5-star reviews. If you go to their website, there are so many paragraphs of comments of how they didn't know about them, and then they found out about PSA, and they love them. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. stjudehouse.org. That's our nonprofit that we work with. They are just fantastic. They do work around domestic violence, which isn't fantastic. It's a tough issue, but they are doing a great job around that. They have a mobile advocacy program where they go out in the community. They've met with hundreds of people around the region in public places just to find out what they need. And so if anyone's dealing with that, please go to stjudehouse.org. Grieger's Chrysler Jeep Ram, get your next Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram at Grieger's. Family-owned business. They're wonderful. US 30. They've got a bunch of new Jeeps on the line, four-wheel drive for you as well. And then finally, last but not least, Ewing Mechanical Services. What is that, you ask? Well, they deal with things like this, my HVAC. They have indoor humidifiers, and they have specials right now. Black Friday special going through the end of December. They've extended it. They've had good response on it as well. It's 0% financing for 60 months. That's enough time to pay it off, right? On new systems, plus free whole house humidifiers and ecobee Wi-Fi thermostats. That's cool. And that's with all new furnace and AC system packages. Again, it's ewingmech.com. If you have any furnace issues, that's your place to go. Okay. All right, here we go. Quickly want to say hello. Severe Storm Filmer says the system looks blizzardy. Boy, there's a chance. We'll see what happens. Kenny, the house looks great. I thank you for that. Nora says has had good luck with Tiger Plumbing. That's good. Gail, good evening from you. Aaron's in Orlando from the Cheer Nationals. Must be nice, Aaron. And then we've got all sorts of people that aren't ready for winter. And then I've got a couple of you that are. So there's that. That's great. And Elaine says, I use Steve the plumber. He's literally the best plumber. There you go. Okay, so big picture across the country, guys. Real stagnant right now. And the reason strong subtropical jet, okay, that feeds moisture into the U.S., okay? That's what feeds our storm systems. There's a lot of high streaming clouds off of this. The origin for this is back in the Southern Pacific Ocean. So we've had a lot of moisture, and we've had two systems over the weekend. There was a low pressure that produced the initial round of rain. We got a little break, and then we got the second one in that produced the rain on into last night, and then kind of scattered throughout the day today, but mainly out of here. This system that's moving in right now, that's moving through right now, is giving the first system a push, but it's just taking its time. That's why the temperatures have been just so flatlined, stagnant here. Notice this little feature out in the Plain States. This will slide south tomorrow. And then we get a little system off towards the north that'll race in here. In an Alberta Clipper is pretty much, I mean, it is an Alberta Clipper. The problem is our temperatures are going to be a little bit too warm to produce what you'd expect out of an Alberta Clipper, which is snow. So we're going to have kind of a rain-snow mix, and that happens late tomorrow night into Tuesday. And again, nothing really big to talk about in terms of how that unfolds. It's really the long term that we're going to get into. So I want to quickly show you this. This is our short term. So as you're starting your work week tomorrow, notice how we've got this system, that little low pressure down to our south. No problems there. We're fine tomorrow. I think the clouds are going to linger. They always do this time of year. These are the days we don't get much daylight at all. So there's not a lot of, energy coming from the sun to get rid of the clouds. It stays kind of dreary, right, when we're stuck with the moisture that we have. So we could see some sun peaks tomorrow. That would be a bonus. But for the most part, we're going to see mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. And then by tomorrow evening, here comes our Clipper system. You see it really diving in quickly. Remember, these things are quick movers. Alberta Clippers, the reason why they're called that, they form in the Alberta province of Canada, and they race down to the south and the east. These are the systems in the middle of winter that typically bring us 1 to 3 quick inches of snow. They'll cause problems on the roads because they move in so quickly and then they move out quickly. And typically they have pretty cold air behind it. This one, however, is heading into the area in early December. So there's not always a plethora of cold, real cold air across the Great Lakes this time of year. We get hits of it, right? But this system's going to come in late tomorrow into Tuesday. And because it's coming into kind of negligible air, we'll be in the mid to upper 30s. We'll generally have rain mixed with some snowflakes from time to time. As we get some cooling in the atmosphere as the system moves in, this is Tuesday morning waking up. We go from kind of a rain-snow mix to probably some light snow. It'll be patchy. I don't think it's going to be steady. You may get a quick burst and then it'll end. But Tuesday morning, I am not anticipating really any problems whatsoever. We'll have some snowflakes around, but I don't think this is going to be a huge deal. As we go into the afternoon, we still have kind of on and off snow. Most hours are going to be dry as we get into Tuesday afternoon. The system will be down to the south. And notice it does, with some cooler air coming in with it, it will kick off a little bit of lake effect. I think rain and some snow mixed in. But again, I'm not anticipating anything big out of this system. This will be out of here by the time we get towards Wednesday as that cooler air pulls on off. All right. So I've got us in terms of your Monday forecast. I've got us at 40 degrees for a high, maybe 41 if we're lucky, if we get a peak of sun or so. Just kind of quiet tomorrow. Tomorrow night, that system moves in. So Tuesday, I've got us with a rain snow mix. Should be right around 39 for a high. So same temperatures we've had all weekend, right? But just because our temperature here at the surface is the same, right? When you go outside, it's felt the same since Friday. It's been between 39 and 42. It doesn't mean things are the same up above us. And that's where the change is Tuesday. And that's how we're going to get some snowflakes, because we have colder air coming in up above us. All right. Remember, our atmosphere is layered and we're going all the way up 20, 30,000 feet. And there's going to be cold air to produce some snowflakes. So that's the difference in terms of that. Okay. All right. Let's talk long term. This is the exciting part of the forecast if you like snow. And I'll show this to you. I want to start big picture. I'm a big picture kind of thinker. And so I want to start big picture and explain what we're watching right now, where it's coming from, and what kind of will change as we go throughout the week. Okay. So what is it? Well, what this is going to be is a chunk of cold air that's sliding into the US. All right. Happens all the time this time of year. And often when it does, it'll spin up some kind of storm system. All right. Much like, and it happens in severe weather season, if I were to push my hand through bath water, okay, let's say I have a pool of water or a bath of water, I push my hand into it, you get spin ups on both sides, right? You get those little swirls, those little eddies that develop on both sides of my hand as I'm pushing that through. Same thing happens in our atmosphere. Our atmosphere is fluid. It's always moving around. It's no wonder we can even predict what's going to happen up there. But we've got a chunk of cold, dense air, real heavy, dense air that's going to come in from Canada. And what happens when that happens? It has to displace air. So you tend to get swirls around where that's forming, and that's what we're expecting to develop. So where is this? Well, this cold air is up in Alaska right now, believe it or not. It's been really cold over in Siberia. You've probably heard about the cold in Europe, which is interesting because they're having, the climate summit over there and it's freezing cold. Don't get me started. But the cold air is coming in from Alaska and Siberia. And what it does, and watch while this happens here. Here it is up here where my mouse is. I think you can see that. Yep. And then we go through time. We get a big system that heads into areas of Western Canada. I wonder what it's like to live in Western Canada. It is constantly snowing heavy in the mountains there. I mean, it's storm system after storm system. It's amazing. But anyway, I don't live there, and I don't know if I really want to. But anyway, notice how we go through time here. And what that system does as it heads in is it brings colder air into Western Canada. This is Wednesday this week, okay? You can see it with these blue lines on here. I know there's a lot going on in this weather map, but the blue lines here, that's where we're capable of producing snow up in the mid levels. All right, here we go through time. This is now Friday into Saturday. We've now got cold air out towards the western US. We're fine here. I'll talk about our local forecast. It's not very exciting this week outside of that little system Tuesday. So here's the snow. Here comes the cold into the western US. And watch how that dives down Saturday into Sunday. We get this big plunge of cold air all the way down into Texas. Remember, your hand through bath water, cold air coming down. Here's your hand going this way. Here's where your spin up is. This would be what we call a panhandle hook. If it were to develop, most of the major models are picking up on this. So I think there's good confidence in something develops. So we would have a panhandle of Oklahoma or Texas, depending, probably Oklahoma. Low pressure would develop and head up the Tennessee Valley, and watch how this thing unfolds as it heads north. This is next Sunday. So a week from today, next Monday, this is a big old system. All right. To the left of that low, we've got real heavy snow. You've got a lot of wind with this. All right. This would be 30, 40 mile per hour winds. You'd probably have severe weather on the leading edge of that as well, on the warmer side. The whole thing heads up into Canada. As of right now, it doesn't look to be a big lake effect snow producer afterwards, just given the trajectory of it. It kind of heads up into Canada, so that makes the air kind of head westerly versus coming down with cold air. But the Euro has us staying on the cooler side, and that lays the foundation for what the model doesn't go that far. But by the looks of it, this would be another storm system that kind of takes more of a west to east track, which would still bring us more snow if that's the case. All right. So let's go back. I'm going to zoom in for you. We're going to talk about, how likely is this? What do we need to watch for here in the forecast? Because it still is a week away. And I'll show you all the models too and how much they're projecting just to look at it. Again, we don't look at totals even remotely from this time, but I like to look at them. And I know you do too. Cheers with the tart cherry juice. I haven't had any yet. Hold on. Oh, that's awful. All right. This tastes like cough syrup. It'll put you to bed though. Wow, that's tart. Anyway, okay, here we go through time. All right, so this is how the Euro evolves. Okay, and you guys know I trust the Euro. We're warm with some rain on Saturday. Okay, as this low gets going, we probably quiet down Saturday night and a Sunday. I don't even want to talk specifics, so it's too early for this. What the Euro is saying, that's the way I'll word this, is that we're on the warmer side as this low comes up. The bulk of the precip would, as of right now, miss us to the east, but we would be included in some of this. As that cold air comes in, we would probably have rain, says the Euro, changing over to heavy, wet snow. Okay. This is not going to be an Arctic air mass that comes in with it. It's going to be probably a 33, 34 degree temperature with this as it looks right now, which would support very heavy snow, big wet snowflakes that would just plaster everything. That's the kind of snow we're talking with this system, okay? Especially with deep amounts of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. But temperatures aren't going to produce a fluff factor to this. This would be a heavy wet snow with whoever gets it. So Euro takes the low pressure right through Ohio. On the western side of that, if you like snow, this is where you want to be, right to the west of that low, okay? So I'm going to go back just a little bit. Here's the low. It says near Nashville, and then it brings that low as of right now, and this will change a lot, okay? It could change to the point where we don't even have a storm system. I don't think that's the case. I think we'll have some kind of bigger storm, but the track's going to change a lot, okay? Unless the modeling is really, really good, which it usually isn't. But anyway, this takes a low through southern Ohio and then up into areas near Erie, PA, okay? That is not the track that produces the heaviest snow for us here in the region, all right? It just doesn't. But would we get snow out of this? We would. And what tends to happen with the Euro is we tend to, and especially in a year like this where we've got a stronger El Nino, what I've noticed as a meteorologist is that the track will tend to shift north and west a little bit. So if it does, that would put us here in Northwest Indiana in the sweet spot for the storm system, okay? That's why we're going to watch this, all right? Because this will be an impactful storm no matter what. The models are going to shift with the track of this. They're going to shift with the intensity of this. If it doesn't dive as far south, it would be a different kind of system. So a lot can change on this, but it's something, all right? And I want us to get our radars up, pun intended, that there's going to be something perhaps next Sunday and Monday, all right? So, I mean, week away, this is trackable, right? And then as we go through time, you notice how it's got some brief lake effect on Monday, and then it just quiets down before our next system kind of reloads out towards the west. All right, let's go through the GFS with this just blazing fast internet that we've got in our new region weather office with the kids blocks in the back. Again, we'll dress it up. Doesn't need to be dressed up. So this is the latest GFS model, and notice how it's got some kind of system there Saturday and the Sunday with some snow, and then it really wraps it up. So I haven't seen this yet. I saw the 12Z. I haven't seen the 18Z. This is the 18Z. So it doesn't bring the cold air quite as far south. So that doesn't carve the low out further south. So the GFS, which, let's be honest, it's not the most reliable, but that brings the low a little bit closer to us. So that brings a rain changing over to wet snow mix. This would be next Saturday night. It's a little bit earlier with this. So this would be Saturday, some rain changing over to wet snow Saturday night, says the GFS. And that would bring some more snow. And then it really develops this low as it gets into Ohio. So we're dealing with like a ho-hum storm system here, and then all of a sudden it fires this big old storm system. So I don't like the way that looks. It doesn't, to me, I haven't really seen a storm develop like that, but we'll see. Either way, that brings us some snow in here on Sunday, not the sweet spot, but some snow. And that keeps the cold air in here much longer. So that would bring some lake effect potential Monday into Tuesday. Just for kicks, let's see what it does as we go further. Some kind of rainy system after that. I mean, who knows? The GFS changes every day. And then we're getting into the week before Christmas, and it's got some kind of major ice storm off towards our north. So again, this is modeling. This is the 18th. This is the 19th of December. So we're in fantasy land here. One more thing I want to check, and then I'm going to throw some totals out there. I just want to see what it's saying for potential. We need to check my good friend, the Canadian, all right, the Canadian model, which I don't think anyone checks, but I like it to kind of tell me what model I should lean towards. Here we go. This is Thursday. Here's Friday. Not much happening. Saturday, we're getting that moisture. Here we go. See this? Wow. Wow. The gem doesn't have anything. Again, this is my first look at this run too. The gem has the cold air getting here after the moisture is gone. So the front goes by, but it doesn't spin up a low pressure. So, boy, boo the gem. That's nothing. That's nothing to talk about. And then it brings some kind of elongated huge system in here on the 13th, so which doesn't do much. So what are we to think about this, right? Let's look at some snowfall totals. This will be the last thing we do, and then you guys can answer or ask questions. I'll be happy to answer those. So the gem we know is our party pooper, and the gem is saying, this is going through, here we go. The gem's saying maybe a ½ inch of snow by this time next week, okay? Snooze fest. Could be right, though. All right. GFS, let's see. All right. There's a GFS. Okay. All right. It's in the ballpark. So it has, and again, this will change, but it's fun to look at. It has like maybe a ½ inch for Lake and Porter counties, and then it's got 1 to 3 for everyone else. And then we get a foot of snow over by Fort Wayne. So there's that. And that's kind of how the storm system looks to go as of right now. Let's look at the Euro, shall we? This is the 18Z. All right. Last thing we'll look at. Go ahead, ask your questions. We'll talk about it. Get some tart cherry juice too while you're at it. Here we go. Here's the Euro. Let's see. Oh, that's not as impressive as I thought. Yeah, that's not that impressive. The Euro doesn't have much on us either. It has like 1 to 4 across the state of Indiana. So I'm really let down by that. I thought the Euro was going to have more in eastern Indiana. But you notice the sweet spot, it has it in Ohio right now. As of right now, the Euro is saying anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. So that's a storm. That's something we can handle, though, for sure. Let's go back. I'll leave it on the GFS because it's just much prettier. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. So there you go. That's kind of what we're dealing with. Okay. All right. Let me answer your questions, and then we'll get you on your way here. Thank you guys for putting up with me tonight. I know we got all sorts of equipment failures and stuff going. Actually, we don't. Everything's been very smooth. I just meant in terms of the background on the kids' blocks. Okay. Nicole asked a good question. She says, how does Wisconsin look? As of right now, Nicole, Wisconsin looks good. It looks like most of this is going to be east. But what I would watch as we go throughout the week is, do the models continue to develop this low and make it a big storm system, or does the storm system go away? And if it does develop that storm system still, does it start to shift west? So that would bring Chicago, Wisconsin into play. It's something to watch. So Wisconsin's not safe from this yet because we're still 7 to 8 days out. All right. So things can still change. Heather says heart attack snow. Yeah, Heather. I mean, as of right now, this would be a heavy, wet snow wherever it falls. Let's say it's eastern Indiana. It would be a heavy, wet snow there too. Let's see. Miriam says, I'll try to get my snowblower started. Last year, I only used it twice. I know last year was, do you guys remember the snow hole that was over Indiana last year? Remember, everyone had snow. I think I showed a map with the heat miser or whatever that character is called. And there was this big old snow hole right over Indiana where we didn't see any snow and everyone else around us got snow. It was crazy. But there's that. So Carl, we're going to watch this system. The system's going to be, in terms of timing, this would be something we need to watch next Saturday, but it's really Sunday and Monday of next week that we'd be keeping an eye on that. Okay. Let's see. Cindy, that should answer your question too. Yep. Yeah, Maxwell says, yeah, it looks like we're getting back into a cloudy pattern. Maxwell, boy, you're right. And, there's nothing worse than not having a lot of daylight to begin with. And then secondly, putting some clouds on top of that. The thing with the clouds, we get, and it's not just us, it's all over, it's really the eastern half of the country, but it's the Great Lakes in particular, because not only do we have lake effect clouds that we get when we get cold air, most places get sunshine when they get cold air back and behind it because it's a polar air mass, right? We tend to get lake effect clouds, so we don't get as much sunshine as other areas like downstate or up in Wisconsin, for example, that are out of the shadow of the lake. But the thing with the moisture, we've got so much moisture in place right now, it just gets stuck. In the summertime, we'd have morning fog. If it were set up like this, it'd burn off by 9 a.m. with the sun's energy. There's just not a lot of energy from the sun right now. So the clouds just stick around. They just can't burn off. And one day kind of leads to another. So there's that. Nicole's going skiing. Awesome. Yeah, we certainly could. They're going to be making snow. It'll be cold enough to make some snow. No bitterly cold air in the forecast, by the way. And that's the thing about that Sunday, Monday system. There's not Arctic air it's pulling into. Sometimes when we get big snowstorms, we have 20-degree temperatures behind it. That's not the case with this. Again, I see us in the mid-30s as of right now with the snow. So anything, again, would be real heavy and wet. There'd be high moisture content to it. Linda says, got my hopes up for a lot of snow that took them away. Linda, don't sleep on this storm system. I'm telling you, it's too early to get our hopes up, and it's too early to let our hopes go down, depending on what you want. Sarah, I do too. I really do too. Adri's traveling home from Florida this Tuesday. Adri, you'll be okay coming up from Florida. I think there's going to be some rain on your way back. Let's just check for you to make sure. And let me get my old reliable back here. My old reliable is GFS. Just kidding. It's not. It's the euro. I want to check big picture for Adri, if that's okay. Yeah, I know. Ruth asks, here's my blazing fast internet all of a sudden. Ruth asks, where is the feet of snow my parents talk about in the late 70s? I know. It's interesting. I go back in the records and there was a lot of snow back then, right? I don't know if the removal tools were better. I mean, we know that it is a warming climate, all right? Temperatures are coming up. We do have temperature sensors in the middle of cities now. They used to be in the middle of fields, but temperatures are rising, right? But in terms of the snowfall, if we're adding more moisture to the atmosphere, which we're doing, we can measure that. There's more water vapor today than there was 10, 15 years ago, okay? If we're adding more moisture to the atmosphere, and we've had almost record snowfall. This is going on year 4 in North America in the fall. I'm talking Canada. They've had all sorts of snowfall. If we're doing that, you think it would lead to eventually more snow, right? But we're just not seeing that. It's really interesting. It's a big debate. I get it, but there's that. Danielle, you made it back from India. That's awesome. You had 2 teams with ribbons. 2 teams had bronze. 4 had silver. 1 got gold. That's awesome, Danielle. That's great. I'm glad you made it back too. That's fantastic. Good. Yeah, Diana, for sure. Tanya asked a good question. Okay. Oh, and I need to answer Adri's question. I'm sorry. Tuesday, Adri's coming back. Here you go. You're coming back from Florida. Yeah, you're fine. Nice and warm until you get to about Atlanta. It'll start to get cooler, obviously, once you get north of that. And you'll have to watch for the system, Adri, as you get into southern Indiana. That's where the rain will start, and it'll start to mix with snow as you're heading back. I don't think you'll have any travel issues other than having to run the wipers constantly, okay? Keep that in mind. Tanya asked a good question. She says, which system is reliable, the GFS or Euro? Which one's claiming less snow? So as of right now, Tanya, the GFS has a weaker system, but it has more snow out towards the east of us, okay? It brings more snow into the system. It has it capable of producing heavier snow. The Euro right now has a good strip of snow with it, but it's got a stronger low with it, but it has more rain mixing in initially with that. For us locally, both of them have pretty much the same amount of snow. The GFS is a little bit closer with the heavy snow. But what I like to watch and what I've noticed over my years of meteorology is that we tend to get a shift out towards the north and the west with these models. So tomorrow's models, Tuesday's models, Wednesday's models may shift this low. They could weaken the low too, but they may shift it more in our direction. We'll see what happens with that. But again, the potential's there for a decent storm system next Sunday into Monday. All right. Will it hit us? We don't know that yet. Is it going to head to our east? It could. Is it going to head to the west? It could. Is it not going to be a storm system at all? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure we'll have something, but we'll see what happens with that. When are you driving, Tanya? When are you driving to Chicago? I see your comment there, but it just depends on the day. Because as of right now, there's going to be some kind of system around us next Sunday into Monday. Those look to be the 2 worst days if I had to pick one, but a little bit too early to call that as of right now. So we'll see. Anyone else have any other questions? Monday and Tuesday. Okay. Tanya, you're fine this week. If that's this week, but if it's next Monday, Tuesday, okay, Sunday. Yeah. So keep an eye on this, Tanya. Yeah. And we'll have updates. We'll continue to keep you updated as well, obviously. And again, if you guys are new with us, if you're not, that's fine. But I don't like to hype things. Okay. So just know, I'm not sending out clickbait. There's going to be nothing to click on. I'm going to give you all the information on our Facebook page or our website. Okay. And we'll keep it straight with you. I'll let you know what the models. I always like to let you know what we don't know, what I'm still questioning as a meteorologist, what I need to see out of stuff. So there's that. Okay. All right. I think that's it. All right. Honor says, shout out to Snowbird. Got you, Tanya. Got it. All right. Linda, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're heading back to work tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. It's been 6 weeks since I've worked in a studio other than down here. Oh, I'm nervous. It's like first day of school feelings. I don't know if I can still do it. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. We'll keep you updated as we go throughout the week. And as always, regionweather.com. You can sign up there for the morning email I send out with a graphic every single day. A ton of you have done that already. I appreciate that. I'll have a little message for you every morning. Just got the weather forecast, goes right to your email. It's non-invasive, nothing else. Again, it's regionweather.com. And you can sign up on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.